Hi, and welcome back to ENTP Life. In the last video where I went over the project in Port Jervis at 44 Hammond Street, I wanted to go over and take a deep dive into the numbers on a deal. Now, one thing I can't stand about all the flipping TV shows is that they don't really go into the nitty-gritty of the numbers. They give you these very broad numbers and always show this huge profit at the end, which is not really how it goes in life because they don't really go into the fees, they don't really cover the carrying costs, they dramatize it for TV. Now, if you are already a subscriber, thank you for being a subscriber. I really appreciate your support. But what I really need from you guys back home is to hit that like button and leave comments in the comment section below. That helps me more than anything. Because YouTube, I guess their algorithm detects whether or not a video is quality based on the amount of engagement, based on the amount of likes, based on the comments, per the number of views. So if you're watching this video because you're a subscriber and you're coming back to the channel, obviously you find some value, so please help me out. Hit that like button, leave your comments, questions, whatever it is to help improve my ranking and getting more distribution for this video. Because really, I want to reach as many people as possible to teach them how they can pursue financial freedom and increase their wealth overall. I'm going to break this into three different parts of the cost associated with this purchase, or with this project in general. The first is going to be the acquisitions cost and the fees associated with that, then the construction end of the deal, and lastly, the overall numbers that go over what it is that we're looking at as far as an exit. Now, this exit in particular is a refinance where I'm recapitalizing, getting my money back so I can do it all over again. And if you remember in the previous title, and maybe even in this title, there's going to be the acronym BRRRR, which is buy, renovate, rent, refinance, and then sometimes they add an extra R on there for repeat that process. When you're doing a BRRRR deal, the goal is always to get all of your money back and then some, right? You want to be able to refinance for a profit, and I want to show you what the numbers should look like for you to come as close to refinancing with a profit or having just a minor amount of money trapped into the deal. So let's get into it. So the first thing we're looking at here on the spreadsheet is the acquisition costs associated with this purchase. Now, this was a cash-only purchase. There's no hard money involved. And by going cash only, you're reducing the overall expenses associated with your buy-side costs. There's no recording fees. Not recording fees, but there's no mortgage recording fee. There's no debt origination fees. And you're going to also reduce your carrying costs because you're not paying for interest on this loan that you're using. So since this property was cheap enough and it wasn't going to tie up too much of my money, I went at it cash because I was going to be able to purchase this house and get out of it very, very quickly. Now, the first thing that you're going to see is my deposit cost. Now, it looks to be 10% of the total acquisition price, but that's inaccurate. I always put $5,000 down on the deal because we're dealing with these distressed properties. These are estate sales, REOs, short sales at times, and these deals can unravel and may leave you in a vulnerable position where you have to walk away even from your security deposit. So I like to be in for as little money as possible, and I always start with a binary amount of $5,000. That's enough for me to walk away from and not feel like I've lost too much. It just coincides with it being 10% on this deal. Now, I sourced this deal as an estate sale. The previous owner of the house passed away and it was his estate that was selling the property, so I got it on cheap for that. The condition was pretty fair. It was actually livable at the time that I purchased it, but I like to renovate my properties, bring it up to a certain standard so that they rent quickly, they have minimal problems when I'm managing the deal, and I can get maximum appraisal price. The next expense is $1,200, which is my attorney fees on the buy side. And then the title expenses were just over $4,500. And the title expenses are going to include taxes, which are relatively high in New York, as well as the title insurance, title search, and any of the recording fees or outstanding debts that need to be paid. So on this deal, it was kind of high, close to 10% of the purchasing price. But remember, this is New York, taxes are high, so a lot of this title bill were the taxes. When we're all said and done, the total amount for purchasing this property was $55,861.06. So in total, we're looking at about 10%, just a little over 10% in acquisition cost, and this didn't even include hard money. So think about budgeting in a little extra over your purchase price as being some of your soft costs associated with your deal. The next bit is the construction portion. Now here I have a few different things itemized, but the way that I worked it out with this contractor, which was actually a new contractor that I started working with, was to pay him the labor, right? We agreed to a total labor amount, and then I told him I'd be reimbursing him for the materials. He's able to carry the materials because he maintains a Home Depot card, and I was reimbursing him with receipts for all the materials that he covered for this particular deal. Now, some of the other materials I purchased on my account, and I have that kind of segregated, and you'll see that in this list. But in total, we paid $38,601.64 for the renovation of this project. Now, if you look at it, the first materials distribution was $2,100. Then I had to purchase some lights, specific light fixtures that I like that really work well in the property. We also had the cabinet cost, which was split into two parts, which came out to about $27.50 for just the cabinets. And then you have the other material batch, which was paid out once I saw that some of the work had been completed. All the other payments are the direct payments for the actual labor, and those are coming out about every week to every 2 weeks, depending on where he was. Now, on this deal, you see that I put down a deposit. Now, I would never give a contractor a deposit unless there's an established relationship or some established trust there. And in this particular case, the agent that I work with in the Orange County area has worked with this contractor on many, many deals, and he came highly recommended as being trustworthy, and I trust her. I do a lot of my deals up there through her, so I was willing to give him the deposit to kind of front run the project so he had enough money to operate and he had enough money to pay his guys. And then from there on, it was just weekly distributions. Other than that, if this was a first-time guy that I got off of Craigslist or that I got out of any other listing service, I would absolutely not pay any deposits because contractors do run away with your money, and that's a terrible start to any project. It pisses you off. Obviously, you lose money, but this one was about 1 week's worth of labor, and he came recommended, so I dealt with that. Now, hopefully that gives you a sense of how much it costs to do a moderate renovation on a single-family home. Now, this house was livable. It needed TLC. It needed to be brought up to speed. I don't have any of the before pictures, but it was run down. It just needed some painting, some improvements. But the bones were good. Overall, it was good. This is a facelift. Now, this property is just under 2,000 square feet when you look at all three levels. And my total renovation was just under $40,000. So for a light renovation, we budgeted about $20 a square foot. I usually budget between $15 and $20 a square foot. And this one came right in that budget for that light to moderate renovation. Okay, so that's something that you want to get used to when you start thinking about your pricing, is really what is something going to cost me? You need to start kind of breaking it down in a way that you could look at a house and say, okay, the condition is fair, it's this big, it should run me $20 a square foot. So 1,000 square foot house, $20,000 renovation cost. 2,000 square foot house, $40,000 renovation cost. For a gut renovation, I start at $60 per square foot. That's doing plumbing, electrical, and multiple systems. So you want to have those quick numbers in mind so you can get a sense of what is this project going to cost you. Now, if this was a gut in Port Jervis, I would have had to budget 120 grand. That would have taken me out of the deal completely. I wouldn't have even looked at it because it's a 2,000 square foot house, gut renovation of $60. The neighborhood doesn't even command that much per square foot. It's commanding 80, 90, maybe $100 a square foot depending. So you can't afford to spend $60 a square foot even if you got the property for free. Now the next piece of this deal is the project overview, or what I like to look at as far as my numbers for the exit. I call it my project overview because it kind of ties in all the bulk numbers as well as my exit cost and what's going to be inclusive of my exit plan. So if we're looking at this spreadsheet, the construction costs are brought on over, that's $38,000 and change. The acquisition cost plus the soft cost for the acquisition is $55,000, bringing the total cost to just under $95,000. The appraised value is going to come in at $160,000 because when I did my project at 3 2nd Street, It's a 3-bed, 2-bath home. This house is a 4-bed, 2-bath home. It's slightly larger. So I'm thinking that it's going to come in for at least what 3 Second Street came in for, a little higher or a little less depending on how the appraiser assesses things. So I'm guessing between 150 and 165 as the final number. But we're going to look at an appraisal price of 160, just in line with the other property. They're located just a few blocks away, so I don't see why there should be too much of a discrepancy. Because of the additional size, because of the additional bedroom, I feel that it should come in for at least even. The next line item that I have is the refinance cost. Now, I'm including what tends to be the going rate for my refinance cost, and that's going to be anywhere between close to like 10 to 15,000, or close to about 10 to 15% on the refinance amount. Now, since this is a $160,000 appraised value, I'm guessing that, I'm thinking the refinance in total is going to be $120,000, which is 70% of the appraised value. Now, this figure is going to be what's used when you're dealing with any kind of institution that's lending on investment properties. They're usually looking at 70% loan to value, and that's what you're going to get as your refinance terms. Now, I do rapid refinances with Visio. They're an alternative lender. The interest rates are higher, but they allow you to refinance with as low as a 30-day seasoning period. So I could buy a house, renovate it, be out within 30 days as long as I've held it for 30 days. It's just going to cost me a little more money. If you go to a traditional bank, they might want you to have a seasoning period of 1 year. So now you got to tie up this cash for 1 year's time instead of being able to rapidly refinance it, get your cash back, and do the next deal the very next month or 2 months later. Now, if you're going to be accumulating real estate rapidly because you're trying to grow your portfolio as quickly as possible, you're going to want a lender that's going to work with you in that way. If not, you're going to need way more cash to rinse and repeat these type of deals. So if the loan with Visio is going to be priced at $120,000 or $112,000, which I have here on the spreadsheet, I'm going to budget around 10% in the refinance charges, and there is going to be some overlap in some of the prepaid taxes and other fees. So I'll end up seeing where I come in once they underwrite the deal, but I feel that I should be paying between $10,000 and $15,000 in closing costs and all costs associated with this refinance. If it's a little higher, it may happen, but that's what we're looking at. So the next figure that I have here is what is my projected rent on this property. Based on the analysis that I run with the software that I use a software called Avail. You're able to put in the demographics of the home, the address, etc., run a report. I think it's like $20 or so, and they give you a detailed report of recent comps for rentals, what were the size of the home, and where your house should be priced. Now, the range is anywhere from $1,400 to $1,800. Now, I'm priced right in the middle. I have a newly renovated house, nice finishes. So if I price myself in the middle and I have this really nice house, I'm gonna get a lot of traffic, I'm gonna get a lot of action. I could pick the best tenant possible and keep it right at the middle and be happy with the spread. Now, what is that spread? Well, that spread is gonna be gross $550. My projected mortgage payment is gonna be around $1,100. That's taxes, mortgage bill, insurance. So after those expenses are paid directly to the mortgage lender, who's going to be escrowing the taxes and insurance, I should be left with $550 for my pocket. Now, I may pay for lawn maintenance, I may not. That's something I'm going to negotiate in the lease. All utilities, since this is a whole house rental, are going to be on the tenant. Water, sewer, all of that. They got to pay their own utilities in the home to maintain that. If I was charging on the 1800 side, I might cover water and sewer. But since I'm charging mid-range with a higher end property, they're going to have to manage things on their own, and that may be subject to negotiation. If it's going to be a deal killer, hey, I might take the loss of $100 and reduce the rent to $1,550, and allow them. But right now it's looking like the gross rental income is going to be $550. If I include lawn maintenance, that might take away $75 a month, something like that. So the gross profit after my core expenses is looking to be $550. The next line that I have is the net profit on the deal. Now this is the line that I have in whether it's a fix and flip or a refinance. It lets me know, am I making money? Am I losing money? What's happening here? So if the numbers work out the way that I have them projected here with the refinance and the fees, then I walk away with all my money that I invested plus $6,337 for my pocket, okay? That will be the best case scenario, that you were able to buy a property, renovate it, refinance, and turn a profit on that. That is the perfect BRRRR, okay? Because in a not so perfect BRRRR, you walk away at break even. And sometimes you even track a few percentage points, maybe 5% of the deal gets tracked. So if we're looking at what is the performance on this, right? The cash that's tied up in the deal is zero, and the profit is going to be just over $6,600 a year. So if I'm making $6,600 a year on a zero investment after all the refinance and recapitalization takes place, then I'm making an infinite return on investment because I have all my money back. This house I pretty much bought for free, okay? Or even got paid to do this because I'm going to end up cash flowing on my refinance or generating a profit on my refinance. Now the cool thing about that is that $6,000 that hits my account as surplus money is not considered a profit because it is debt. I actually get a tax deduction on the interest on that, okay? So you're not going to have to claim that money as gains. You're not going to have to claim it as taxes. It's a profit that you're going to be able to reinvest into your next deal. That's actually enough money for me to put down a down payment on the next house. You understand? So these are the numbers that you're looking for. Now, if we were just looking at the cost to acquire versus the profit point that it's going to be making on the deal, that's where you get that 11% return on investment because it's my cash amount that I came out of pocket up front. And then if I had borrowed money for the construction, I guess that would play into this whole equation. That number could be manipulated however you want it, because if this was a hard money deal, your cash requirement might have only been $20,000. So if your cash requirement is $20,000 and you walked away with $6,000, you'd be looking at like a 30% return on investment or something along those lines, or close to 30%. So that is just a metrics that I'm tracking on my spreadsheet. You can design your spreadsheet however you need to. So what are the takeaways here? Okay, if you're going to be implementing a BRRRR strategy, you want to be able to track all your expenses and be able to make sure that, hey, when I'm projecting this deal, based on my analysis of the neighborhood, what are the comps, what is going to be my budget, how much I'm going to be spending, you want to have a really well-defined spreadsheet that allows you to track all of this, because one, you're going to be able to analyze how much money are you actually making on this deal, and two, you're going to be able to forecast what's going to happen on future deals, right? If you're able to get really clear metrics, like it's costing me $20 per square foot on moderate renovations or light renovations, it's costing me $60 a square foot on gut renovations. It's costing me an average of 10% on the buy side for my fees in New York. If I include hard money, that goes up to 13% on average, or whatever it is that you're doing. Same thing on the refinance side. If I'm refinancing, how much is my refinance actually costing me? So that you could put that into your projection whenever you're doing a quick analysis of a deal, right? If I walk into Port Jervis and I see a moderate house, now if I see a moderate house for less than $50,000, right? I could say, okay, I'm gonna cash flow on this on my refinance. If I get it at $30,000 and it's moderate, same condition, okay, I'm gonna cash flow probably $25,000, okay? So you wanna be able to have those numbers in your mind quickly so that you're able to make your decisions rapidly. When you're dealing with BRRRR investments, you're able to stretch your money a lot further especially if you're cashing out. If you're not cashing out additional capital, you're also going to be able to take your main investment amount and break it down into multiple deals, right? You're going to get the multiplying effect of using debt. So you may have $100,000. You have the choice of either buying one house like this for $100,000 and making $1,600 a month, right? That's gross $1,600 a month. That's not even after you take out taxes and insurance. Or you can buy 10 properties like this for the same $100,000. Even if it trapped $10,000 per deal, you would have 10 properties just like this that are cash flowing $500 a month. So instead of making $1,600 on one house, you have 10 houses making you $500, so you're making $5,000. So that's the real upside to using a strategy that allows you to trap minimal money, and that's repeatable and rapid. Okay, so in 1 year, if you did 5 of these deals in 1 year, you'd be making $2,500 a month rather than doing one deal all cash that's making you $12,000 a year. Okay, you like $12,000 a year versus $2,500 a month. You do the math, you're making $30,000 one way, and then you're only making $12,000 the other after expenses. So be smart about it, right? If you're wealth building and trying to get out of the rat race of being an employee, you're going to have to use leverage. You're going to have to know your numbers. You're going to want to move very, very quickly, because time is your enemy in these deals. Your carrying costs are going to be taxes, right? If you're all cash, it's going to be taxes. If you're cash and debt, it's going to be your debt obligation plus your taxes. So the faster you're able to get in and out of these deals, the better it is for you. If you are using debt to acquire, it's going to be additional cost there. So you're going to want to make sure you got an even better price. So you really want to be well refined on your numbers, and using a spreadsheet and thinking in this way is going to allow you to get there. Now, if you got it to the end of this video and you felt that this information was very valuable, of course, hit that like button. We need to know that. Leave those comments in the comment section below. Now, if this is your first time landing on my channel, or you've seen some of my other videos and you're not yet a subscriber, hit that subscription button, turn on your notifications so you get alerted of whenever we're putting out a new video. I want you to not miss a beat. I want you to make this money out there. There's plenty of money to make. I'm telling you the addresses, the deals that I'm doing. I'm telling you the neighborhoods. I'm showing you the numbers. Even though, we may be in competition. You may start investing up there, and you might be my competition, or you may have a different set of numbers that you're comfortable with. I'm only presenting to you what is working for me. You need to know what's going to work for you. But if you're not already a subscriber, hit that subscription button. Okay. Last thing that I have to tell you, which is another prompt to take action on this video, there's a share button, okay? Obviously, sharing is caring. Sharing helps out a lot. But I tell you to share not only to benefit myself, but it's to benefit you, so that you're sharing your interest in wealth building, in real estate, with your friends and family, the people who are on your social networks. They're going to see that video. They're going to see, hey, Susan is interested in investing in real estate. So am I. Let me give her a call. I got these ideas. I have this money. I'm a contractor. I'm a real estate agent. We can work together. By putting it out there that you're interested enough to make it all the way through this video, by putting it out there, you're letting people know what you're about, what you're doing, and it's probably one of the first steps to get you over there. I know a lot of the people who are watching this are fairly new to real estate investing, and they're trying to figure it all out. You're going to need friends. You're going to need a network. You're going to need some support. If you go at this by yourself, it's going to be kind of hard, okay? It's going to be harder than if you had some people to lean on, right? You're going to have a multiplier effect. You're going to be able to share the risk, share the burden, share the strategy with other people, and it's going to put you in a better position. Don't be greedy. Don't be proud. Don't be these things that are only going to hurt you. Share your ideas, share your thoughts, share your interests. It's going to benefit you. Once again, thank you for joining me at ENTP Life. I hope you've enjoyed this video. See you in the next one.